All right, I'm going to talk about this. All right, Car Chronicles, Part 1. The Car Chronicles. I'm sitting here riding home. I got a long commute. And I've been watching and listening to a lot of stuff on social media. And the gender wars is real. Women hate men and men hate women. Men saying a whole lot of outlandish stuff. Women say a whole lot of outlandish stuff. Women say they want a man with six figures, that's 6 feet tall, with a minimum of 6 inches in their digging stick. Men say they want a baddie that's light skinned, brown skin, long natural hair, natural green eyes, fat ass, flat stomach, all of that. All of that. And I come to realize today's world is chasing unrealistic expectations and they're chasing relationship dreams. Here's what I'm trying to say. People is looking at stuff like, so people like celebrities, relationships at the gold standard. Prime example, people are saying, oh, Michelle and Barack, they're the gold standard of black love. But people forget Barack had an affair on Michelle and they went through a lot of turmoil. And there's stuff coming out saying they might be separated and doing a secret divorce, where the divorce is going to be very secretive. Nobody ain't going to know until they announce it publicly. And then you hear people saying, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they're the definition of black love. They the gold standard. But Jay cheated on Beyonce with a white woman. That's why Beyonce said Becky with the good hair. So, and then people look at those type of people. Oh yeah, Lil Durk in India. And whatever, I ain't gonna say India Love, I think that's a totally different chick. But the girl named India, whatever her name is. But people say, oh, Durk and India, they're so cute together. But Durk cheated on her, and Durk had a couple baby mama and all that other goofy shit and all that. But anyway, it's just crazy how the gender wars are. Look, people are chasing unrealistic expectations. Like, people are falling in love with the people who don't like them. And that's all I gotta say. If you're gonna find somebody good, find somebody that like you for you. Because if you fall in love with the wrong person that don't like you and they just tolerate having you around, you're gonna be miserable down the line. And I give you a prime example. Like women are so intelligent. Women are they're so intelligent. A lot of women will meet a guy and they know he ain't shit. They know he ain't shit. They know that. Right off the rip, they know he ain't shit. But they have this ego problem saying, I can change him. And I know people wonder how do I know? Because I have women friends that told me that before. They met a guy, they knew the first 10 seconds me and they knew he wasn't shit. Or the first 5 minutes they talked to him, they knew he wasn't shit. But they always said they had this thing in mind, I can change him, I can mold him, shape him, turn him into the man that God is going to do that. And he's going to be a great man. And guess what? And it's a failed mission. Because now you trying to mold it and shape him, he's going to realize you're trying to, quote unquote, control him and trying to change him, and he's going to back off, or he's going to rebel. And now you're going to have problems. And then if you have a child with the man, guess what? You stuck with him. And then when he finally gets it and gets healed, he's going to move on and get another woman and gets married. Now you're mad and bitter for the rest of your life. I've seen this so many times. On the men's side, some men will meet a chick that's a thought. They'll say, man, she bad. Man, she this. man, she gonna be a wife. And then you trying to wife her up. You trying to change her into a wife. You trying to get her into your program, how you do things, and then she rebels. And then now you sitting there looking stupid, trying to realize I try to turn a thought into a housewife, and it's not working. It's backfiring. And now you looking like a goofy. So it's just crazy. All I'm saying is just like, look, if y'all find somebody good, don't just judge. You find somebody good, just know every person that you find somebody good, they're not gonna feel like 100% of all your requirements. Especially women, like I'm gonna talk to the women first. Ladies, you might got 20 requirements, and the man you meet that's a good man might got 15 of them. And then you get mad because he don't got the 5 requirements that's missing. And then you want to leave. Do you know if you do that, if you leave a man because he don't got everything, he got majority of the stuff right, but except for a few things, you leave him, a woman in your proximity will take him like a thought cousin or one of your best friends. I've seen it done before where a chick break up with a good man and then the best friend scooped them up. And now you see 2 females fighting over a dude. Even though the girl initiated the breakup, but you want her back. Which is crazy work. Men, you gotta understand, and I'm talking to the men too. If you find a chick, if she don't got all the aesthetics of a baddie or whatever how you want it, don't get mad. Look, because I'm gonna say this, guys. And one thing about men, some men are picky, that want everything perfect, but men that are mature and wise, we know that the girl we like ain't gonna fulfill all the requirements. Like you might meet a girl that's skinny with a pretty face but really no body, but she's an awesome woman. And and a mature man like, you know what? I'm good with that. Then you got some dudes that's very shallow that say, man, she ain't thick, I don't want her. Or she too fat, I don't want her. It's okay to have requirements and standards and all of that, but sometimes the best person might be the one that likes you for you genuinely, and that might not have all the aesthetics and all the requirements and all the standards that you want them to meet. So I'm not just saying just settle, but just be wise who you pick. So, and it's just crazy. And also, I'm just gonna talk about this. I don't know why some women have this thing of, I need a man with 6 figures. I'm just gonna give you some real stats. Ladies, just in America, only 10% of men in America make 6 figures a year. 10%. That means between 100,000 to maybe 900,000. Only 10% of those men make 6 figures a year. Between 100,000 to 900,000. And guess what? 10%. So that's, if you take 100 men and you put them in a room, 10 of those guys gonna make 6 figures a year. But what's so crazy, ladies, you have a better chance finding a man that's making 75, 80 grand a year. And guess what? And you can boss him up to be in that 6 figure range. You know how you can do it? You build with him. You tell him, hey, babe, I know you're making 80, but man, Let's make some money together. Let's start a business together. You boss that man up. That's the game right there. That's the cheat code. Some ain't ready for that one. You gotta boss that man up. You boss that man up, you get him to there. Now guess what? And I'm telling you how men are. If you stick with us from the grind, like real men, if you stick with us from the grind, we feel like we owe it to you forever. We feel like we owe it to you, no matter what, because you've been there from the grind. But some people already want already made products, and sometimes you can't always have already made products. It's always better to start from the bottom. And also, let's talk about this 6-figure a year thing. 10% of men in America make 6 figures a year. And I'm gonna just talk, and then guess what? Out of that 10%, maybe 7% of that 10% are white males, and the rest is scattered between Hispanics and blacks. So yeah, think about it. So and I know some women, talking about they looking for a man, but you have a better chance finding a man that's making between 40 and 80. That, and most men with 6 figures, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And the reason why I have a couple friends that make that type of money. Most dudes that make 6-figure years, they don't work a regular 9-to-5 job. Most dudes I know that make 6-figure years, they're working 12, 14 hours a day. They coming home at 8, 9 o'clock at night because they work their 8-hour shift. Plus, if they're in an executive role, they doing dinner meetings, they doing after-hour executive calls. They have to fly to a different state to do certain meetings. And then 9 times out of 10 is always money involved in those type of meetings. They're like millions of dollars that's involved in those type of meetings. Most men in 6 figures, making 6 figures, they don't have the time to come home and unwind, because it's a grind. Most of them, and I know somebody say, well, I know a man that makes 6 figures and he's working and he's at home all the time. Yeah, because people forget he spent that first bulk of his life trying to build up to that, and then when he finally is making consistent money where he don't have to work anymore, then he can have stay at home. I'll give you a prime example. I have a neighbor. He makes 6 figures a year, and he been doing his company for like maybe almost 20 years. He's at the point now he makes his own schedule when he could come in and work. Means he sits in his house, he plays his guitar, and if he feel like going to work, he'll go. That's how much money he's making. If he feel like going to work, he'll go. He don't have to go into his own office because money is steadily flowing every day. That's how much money he's making. So it's crazy that, but it took him maybe years to get to that point. Years. So if you notice, so that's what I gotta say, ladies. If you want a man that's making 6 figures, 7 figures a year, you just gotta understand, he's not gonna have that extra free time. He's not gonna, he's not gonna have that regular 9-to-5 schedule where he can come home and be with you and play with the kid. He's gonna 9 out of 10. He's gonna be coming home late. He ain't gonna have no time. He's not, the only time he might have if he takes a vacation. And then a lot of times guys like that, when they take vacations, they still on the clock. So it's kind of crazy how life is. And I know I'm ranting like Kanye. Oh well, but this is the Car Chronicles. That's why I'm just kind of say what's on my mind. But anyway, but this gender war stuff is crazy. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But yeah, it is what it is. All right, so follow me, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Tell me what you think.